go into much more in regards to the future. But if we begin with that already here, we mentioned, or you mentioned rather, a little bit in regards to the financial situation and so forth. Generally, is there something that you can mention to us about this? Where are we heading, and where do you see the outcome of all of this will become, and how long into the future here are you able to see? Do you see that as a big impact, meaning that it will be a big emotional impact because of the events in the future in terms of the financial situation?
Yes, it's going to be huge, planetary, in fact, in terms of the financial system's impact on everybody. And as to how far into the future we can apparently look, we have our long-term data's level of maximum granularity decreases after about 19 months. So really, we like to make our interpretations based on the trends that we can see within a 19-month or less period of time. And right at the moment, we're looking at a very rough period of time for the whole central bank and warfare model that runs the planet. And that hard period of time from our data starts about November 4th of this year and extends all the way through November 2nd of next year.
I read something as well about a potential something upcoming in October. Don't know if it was speculation or not, or something that you guys put out, but can you mention something about that?
Sure. On October 25th, well, let me just say that on August 22nd of this year, our data indicated and had been forecast for that week, and it actually turned out to be on the 22nd. But we went into a period, I say we, the planet, went into a period of what we call release language, where the language is more about releasing emotion than about building tension emotion. The way I like to characterize it is that building tension is when you come across an accident or something horrific and all the muscles in your body tense up and you have that indrawn breath and your stomach muscles tense. And that's a building tension emotion. The release is just the opposite of that. It's where you're angry and you just start yelling. So you're releasing the emotion. So we're in a release period of time that started on August 22nd and will continue until the 25th of October. And it'll take a very, very sharp turn at that point and go into building tension that will last about 10 to 10 and a half days. And we think that the majority of that may indeed be involved with the financial system, but we cannot rule out that there's a potential international chaos around the warfare component either.
In regards to when you look at the data, do you also personally follow the news around the story to confirm or not? And if so, is it difficult to keep your own opinion, so to speak, out of it?
Yes, on both of those. Yes, I look at real world potential in order to figure out a probability, because what we're doing is forecasting trends, not simply speculating off of emotional linguistics. And yes, indeed, it's very difficult to keep my own opinion out of it, and therefore there's a whole lot of subjects I just prefer not to go into, because I know that my personal opinion would cloud my ability to make any kind of a rational interpretation from the data.
And again, in terms of this period that we are entering, a release, does that mean that something the tension then that has been building during this time is going to be released? Does that necessarily mean bad times ahead, or could it actually mean good times ahead?
It could mean good. In our experience, that has not been the case in the recent years. But release tension is neither good or bad. It's just the release of emotion. So, for instance, imagine a situation where we're in release tension now. Everybody's basically releasing their tension in the mainstream media about all of the financial system in a gradual sort of a sense. It doesn't appear too chaotic right at the moment. But say that it accelerated and we got to a point where in October, on October 25th, we had a Cuban Missile Crisis kind of an event. That is to say, what if we had a showdown over the period of from the 25th until of the October to the 4th of November between a nuclear-armed and ready-to-attack Israel going against Iran, and maybe for some reason Russia or China decided to join them, and so Israel hesitated, and we had 10 days of tension. Well, if the tension broke and everybody stepped back and there was no war, then yes, we could have all that release in language be in a sense about a big, oh boy, we sure missed having a problem there, we're all relieved about it, and so on. On the other hand, that release language could just as easily go towards the horror everybody expresses as the war actually occurs. And we cannot tell the difference from our viewpoint now.
And speaking of Iran, that this is something that is being ramped up now again in the media. Allegedly, they found another site where they are extracting for, Western sources say that it's for potential nuclear weapons and so forth. The Iranians themselves say that this is only for purposes of nuclear power plants and so forth. Do you see Iran on the horizon here as well? This has been ongoing now since, I don't know, 2004 almost, back and forth all the time with Iran here. But do you see that will play out in any way?
We have a theme within our data, a trend line that we've had since, I want to say, probably 2002, maybe even early 2001, that we've called the Israeli mistake. And it appears as though that if the Israelis actually go against Iran, and that appears to be within the cards, I mean, within the data stream right now, I would have to say the probability is, as these things go, pretty certain between now and the end of the year, that Israel will make a decision, or will be faced with making a decision on a particular day to attack or not. Beyond that, I can't say because of the nature of language that we've discussed. However, that broad theme that we've had of the Israeli mistake is a particularly grim one because it includes an attack on Iran using a bunker buster kind of a technology, hitting an inappropriate target that may indeed cause some weird thing like nuclear radiation leaking into oil fields, and then the oil fields erupt into giant flaming geysers that spew the nuclear radiation all over the planet for about 18 weeks.
Well, that is very, very interesting. Clif, why don't we do like this then? We'll round things up here for the first hour and then continue after the break talking more. But before we do that, please let us know how we can find out more information about the Webbot, what you guys are doing, you and George, and how, again, we can get access to the reports that you are producing.
You can go to halfpasthuman.com to purchase the reports. There's just a little link there, allows you to use PayPal or send us a check, and we'll send it to you electronically. If you want to read about the history of what we've done and see some of the past reports that have been posted on George's site, you can go to urbansurvival.com, go to his main page and scroll down about 2/3 of the way, and he has a number of links, including a simple explanation of how they work, how the technology works, as well as the previous postings that we've kept on his site as kind of a historical record.
There you go. So basically urbansurvivor.com and halfpasthuman.com. Thank you very much for